Hello, this is Read, Rant, Repeat, the show where we meet to discuss, dissect, and theorize about the current reads of the Bookmark Besties Book Club. I'm your host, Megan, and for this week's book club meeting, my co-host Arian and I are discussing chapters 24 through the end of The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. If you're not up to speed yet, to avoid spoilers, check out our recent episodes to read along and join the discussion. This episode, we discuss the impracticality of sex on the beach and our theories for the next book in this series. So let's get into it. Welcome to the club.
I made more of those cookies again this weekend, and I ate
Yeah.
5 before we started our call, and I was like, there goes eating healthier, you know?
Dude, literally same. All
Mm.
right. Well, we have quite a bit of story to go through. So I have some fun, just good old fashioned would you rather questions that I want to go through first, of course,
Okay.
but then we'll jump right into the content because I'm so excited to talk about it. Okay, so just good old fashioned would you rather. So first and foremost, would you rather not be able to control your laughter or not be able to control your tears?
Not be able to control my tears. I don't care if I cry, and honestly, that would make people want to leave me alone. But I want to laugh when I want to laugh. I feel like that would be more tiring than crying all the time. And the tears would
You
just
think so?
lubricate my contacts. Yeah, that sometimes I have to make myself cry to fix them. So win-win.
Oh my God, you just sparked like a memory of I just I just remembered that like I woke up from a dream like the night before last, freaking out that I had not taken out my contacts. You want to know what's crazy? Is I don't wear contacts.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up and you just reminded me, I haven't thought about it since, but I remember waking up and being like, "Oh my God, did I take out my contacts? Like my eyes are going to get infected if I don't take them out." And then I don't wear contacts. Oh my God. Anyways, also, yeah, I already cry without being able to control it. So
Yeah, honestly.
I feel like that would be, yeah, the easy choice there. Okay, would you rather manipulate time, allowing you to pause moments or relive memories as many times as you want, or be able to control the weather to be able to influence events or people as long as indefinitely?
I am gonna be a little sad, and I would rather control time because I would go relive moments with my mom and my grandma.
Yeah.
So that's what
Now,
I
do you
would
wish you
choose.
could control your tears?
Yeah, literally. Ugh,
Gonna make me
mother.
cry. No, I
Oh,
agree. Like there's just time you can't get back, right? So,
exactly. It was really awkward. Like usually I'm pretty chill and make jokes and stuff, but we
yeah.
have a little urn that my sister gave us, and I keep mine in the
Yeah.
closet because like I don't know what else to do with it. And I'll say something awesome, be like, "Your mom's in the closet," or that the other day I was getting my grandma's ring size so I can wear it. And like the
Yeah.
lady at the place was like, "Oh, this is so cute," and like just gushing about it. And she was like, "Oh, your grandma's gonna want it back after we buffed it and everything." And I was like, "Oh, she passed
Oh.
away." And then she was like, "Oh, your mom then?" And I was like, "She passed away too." And I was like,
No.
"Time to go." I felt so bad because she's probably
Well, she shouldn't have said that.
literally, I was like, "There's a reason
No.
I have this ring and not my grandma or my mom."
Yeah. Oh, I have been that. I feel like I've been that service person before though, where you're just trying to like make conversation
Make
and then you just keep putting your foot in your mouth.
and
And
it's
you're like,
sad
just
too
shut up. Just zoop.
yeah, like you don't ever want to like make people feel uncomfortable or anything. And I don't like I can't lie like that either. Just being like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah."
no.
I don't have that quick
Yeah.
reaction time.
Yeah.
So many stories I could
All
tell.
right. Would you rather live in a world where all music was made by TikTok influencers or all movies were made by YouTubers?
All music was made by TikTokers because I've listened to some stuff and I'm like, this is great. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some hidden talent for sure. I think there's some YouTubers that I follow that have been on the platform for like they're like OG YouTubers who have
Hmm.
started like getting into movie making, and I think that's the exception to the rule. I think if anybody on like if all movies could only be made by people on YouTube, I feel like it would be just a nightmare. But you're right, there's some TikTok music that's super good. I actually just came across this guy that like mashes up songs. Like you've seen those ones where I don't
Yes.
know how they do it, but people that just know that these two like songs would fit really well together. Yeah, and I just came across one that he mashed up a Sleep Token song with one of the songs from K-pop Demon Hunters, and it was like those are, by the way, are like my two favorite things right now.
Hmm.
And so I was like, this is so good. Okay, would you rather give up reading all new books for life, so only rereads, or give up all video games for 5 years?
Video games for 5 years. I
Yeah,
could totally do that. Yeah.
even your
I
cozy
like,
games,
yeah, I could do that. Easy peasy. Sometimes I don't play
your
that shit for,
your mobile games, your Genshin Impact. Okay, all
I
right.
could, I can do that. I can do that, but like, I gotta be able to read like those Kindle Unlimited books that are only like 99 cents. I gotta be able to read them and see what other people
Yeah.
say about them. Tia,
Dang it, I
the
thought I
other
would trip you up with that one.
day, Tia was like, what were we doing? I think it was her. No, it was Belle. Mirabelle, my niece. Like, I was talking about like reading and stuff like that, and she's, you read? And I was like, I read 170 some books last year. I read. And
Yeah,
she's like,
all the
you
time.
don't
I
have any
know.
books. And I'm like, I read on my phone.
That's true, that's fair. Maybe it's just because 'cause I've known you for so long. I'm like, I don't think I would be surprised by that, just knowing you. Let's see. Okay, would you rather live in our world, but only speak in video game character lines, or live in an open world video game, but you're an NPC that can only interact with players?
The first one. Sometimes I
Our
do
world, but
talk in video
video
game
game.
lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I do talk like that. So
I would need, I think, more exposure to video game like I watch a lot of video game content, so I'm surprised that I don't have more that just come to mind. But
even though they don't talk in Stardew Valley, I feel like you could use a lot of what they say.
true. Wait a minute. Does that include like you can only make this? Can I only make the sound that it makes when the script rolls by? Or can I say the words that
That I bet it would you'd be able to say the words because then I would just be using a lot of what Sebastian says, like
right? Exactly.
or Shane, like why are you
Uh,
talking to me?
why are you talking to me?
Oh, good old Shane.
Okay, let's see. Okay, last one. Would you rather be trapped in a room with 1,000 live bees for an hour or spend a whole day trapped in a bad dream that you can't get out of?
I would rather be trapped with bees because they don't have to
Me
sting you if you
too.
chill. A
Yeah,
bad
exactly. I
dream,
was like, it
just
didn't
a
say
whole
they're
day of my
aggressive.
teeth falling out.
Uh-huh. Yup.
That's my nightmare.
Yeah, no, I would pick the bees too. I'm always trying to like talk to my daughter about how like oh, bees are really nice, and like obviously if you don't piss them off, like you know, they're fine, and I'll point them out in the garden and stuff. So yeah, it's like they're chill. I'm chill. I just hang out with bees for an hour and be done with it. I would not want to spend a whole day trapped in my brain. I'm
No,
already stuck in here with me.
yeah, or I can't leave. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I have some weird dreams. Okay, let's get into it. I'm so excited. Okay, so obviously we just finished The Night and the Moth, chapters 24 through the end of the book. So we finally got some answers to what was going on, but I do believe there was quite a plot twist, and you saw it coming based on our last episode. You said you don't trust Benji, and I should have listened to you because little shitster.
He's also just a
Um,
kid. Like he's just a little
yeah.
shithead.
But a little I think that's what the vibe I got. So obviously this is like we'll come back and go through kind of the whole section, but this is skipping right to the big bombshell that happened at the end. But he double crossed them all. Like, it was like he got what he wanted and then was just like, oh, just kidding. I'm gonna enact my grand plan now. But I still, like you said, I still felt like he did it in a way that was very naive and just like an emotionally driven boy, not like a
Yeah.
super cunning trickster. Like, it really just felt like he was just this whiny little, he felt like Anakin Skywalker. So that was kind of, I should have saw it coming. I will say, so you had said that last week. And then I did make a note as we were reading through this section before we got to the end where it felt like Benji's was starting to get really whiny out of nowhere. Like he started to feel like it's never about me. Like he said there was a line where he was like, of course it's not about me. It's never about me. And I was like, that felt really kind of whiny.
Mm.
And then it turned into,
Hmm.
yeah, turns out he's a little bitch.
Little bit.
Okay, but so rewind back to chapter 24 because there's a lot to cover. So, starting off with, and this just says it all, the chapter title is Take Off My Armor. And I was ready for the armor scene. So, first of all, get back into it where they just finished fighting the tree sprites and Maud is injured. We find out that she's okay, but she's still unconscious. And everybody's kind of recovering from that attack. What did you make of, I guess maybe now knowing that Benji had this alternate plan, is kind of just going for the power grab. What did you make of his reaction to Maud like before she woke up? Because it was saying that he was so like inconsolable and like
Well,
drunk, just like wouldn't leave her bedside.
well, I mean, that was like who pretty much raised him, and like she was like a mom to him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Couldn't we kind
I
of,
felt like
because that's how they, when they were first, like before in the stories, not what they were saying was like she was like took them both under her wing, him and Rory.
right.
Um, and like he lost his family. He doesn't have anybody.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever said, if it did, I don't remember, but I don't know if it ever said much about like his direct parents, right? But it was his grandfather that was the king who they stoned to death, and that Maud had she was sworn fealty to him and had to be the one to cast the first stone in order to make it look like she wasn't conspiring. So yeah, it kind of I don't remember it saying really much of anything about his direct parents, but just that his grandfather kind of raised him, passed on his journal to him, and that Maud was a big person in that as well.
Yeah.
So
But-
yeah,
And I don't
she
feel like
did.
he
I
has,
believe was a huge mom figure.
yeah. And I don't feel like he has as much of an attachment to Rory. He does, but I also feel like Maud is that person. Like, it's understandable why he's
Yeah.
upset. Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like he cared more about Rory than it turns out that he did. But so that was kind of a bummer. Maybe I was reading too much into that. But yeah, once Maud wakes up, he kind of, I guess, collects himself. But yeah, he was like really broken up, I think, about it, that I was like, okay, so as I was reading through it, obviously I didn't know about how it ended, but I was like, okay, like maybe I'm not so suspicious of him. I was thinking that he was pretty honest about like, you know, how he felt, I guess, about them, but maybe not. But then Maud wakes up and she's very injured, but she's alive. That was where it's kind of right after Maud woke up that Benji made his little like, it's never about me. I'm the king and I'm not respected, and kind of got a little whiny, which is a red flag for me.
Yeah, I feel like he's doing all this because he's not respected and maybe like it's because of his bloodline and like what happened with his grandpa and so he's definitely doing it all to like get all that back.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is just like he again he's being childish but is trying to like reclaim his family's honor or something crazy like that. All right, Prince Zuko.
He was wrong also in the beginning, but he hurt a lot of people and even his own
Right?
grandpa who was literally the best.
He deserves so much better.
He really did. I loved him. The grandpa was the best
I
part of
need an
that
Uncle
show.
Iroh.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So then they decide to knight Sybil, which she's officially declares that's her name. So it's not, we're not calling her Six anymore. We're calling her Sybil. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I think so.
Somebody let me know if I'm not. And then, so decide to make her a knight. And during that ceremony, another little, I guess, red flag is she is saying her vows. Rory kind of tells her, he interjects and tells her that she doesn't need to swear anything she's not comfortable with. And he and Benji kind of clash heads about that. Benji's like, yes, she does. She has to be loyal to me. And he's like, no. So
Not
there's the
even.
second flag. Yeah. And then after that, so they're getting ready to, they've left the forest and are heading towards the last omen before then they know that they've got to face the abbess.
Yeah.
And so they head to the cliffs of Belladine in order to, or they will be heading to the cliffs of Belladine in order to confront the Heartsore Weaver. But then the night before they leave, they get to finally
Be together.
do it. We finally get it. The burn finally catches flame, and Rory and Sybil finally do it.
Yay.
And it was hot. Oh, but I think the important piece of information from that is she finally takes off her shroud for him. And we do get the confirmation that she has the same eyes as the omen.
Mm-hmm.
So, although I did describe it differently, so it changed the way that I was imagining it. I was imagining these like stone, but like gray stone. And the way that she describes it is like a white marble. So it kind of changed the way that I was visualizing these
Yeah.
creatures, I guess. And so they're like like a white marble plain stone kind of eye versus I was thinking it was like a gray like rock.
I was
So
in my head, I was thinking like Hunchback of Notre Dame gargoyles type stuff. Like and that
yeah, I think
that
that's
was
kind of where I was going too.
yeah.
And I'm picturing it's the short chubby one is the one that I'm picturing the like gargoyle, which I feel like I need to change that because we discover who the gargoyle officially is, and I feel like the short fat one doesn't quite fit with that.
Yeah. Uh,
So yes, we get a very beautiful spicy little scene with Rory and Sybil, and that was the thing that I made note of. Otherwise it was just good. It was good. I didn't do a very good job of taking notes this time. I apologize. I was just so into it.
you're probably like, oh my God, turn after
And I was
turn.
like, and then I was like, finally. Snaps, snaps. Okay. Anything else about that before we head to the Cliffs of Belladine
Mm,
that you had?
no, I didn't have. I'm like going back through my notes. I don't think I have anything else from that family.
No, me either. But I do like that she got self-conscious, of course, because she was like, she saw her own eyes after their night
Yeah.
together. She looked at herself in the morning and got self-conscious. She's like, I look like the omens. I look like a monster. And Rory assured her that she doesn't.
Yeah.
Very sweet. Oh, I don't think it was until after, but we did kind of confirm the timeline because I know we were wondering this last time. The timeline of Maud killed the faithful Forester like 30 years ago. Like, and I think that's kind of what set them on the path of like, oh, they could kill the omens, and so they're gonna do this together.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been dead for a bit. But okay, so we're on our way to the Cliffs of Belladine, and this is where the Heartsore Weaver dwells. So kind of the first thing that happens here is so the people seem less enraptured by Sybil than they have in the other hamlets. They've all seemed like, oh my gosh, Diviner, like, get kind of handsy with her.
Yeah. And like read my future or something.
Yeah. But she makes note that they don't really do that in this hamlet, and that the ceremony that they do for Benji is much more like beautiful ritual than it is like embarrassing, like tearing him down,
Yeah.
how it was in the other Hamlets. And I don't really know if it necessarily said a specific reason why, but it just felt different.
Isn't the Heartstone Weaver supposed to be like more compassion and stuff for people? Or like,
Yeah, she was her descriptor was like was compassion and, love and heartbreak. And I think, yeah, maybe that just like had to do with what the values that she kind of instilled into her Hamlet. But yeah, it felt just a lot more of like a beautiful celebration than embarrassing, like, making a fool out of the king kind of
yeah.
thing. So let's see. Shortly after they arrive, they get the inn, and then she, gets a meet me outside note from Rory. But that leads her to run into Benji with some of the knights. And here, like the third flag is up that he's meeting with the knights, but not inviting Rory. Or he said he did invite him. I don't know if it's true, but says he invited him, and they're talking kind of shady stuff and being kind of a dick. So were you like catching on to this and you're like, okay, for sure, he's being weird?
Yeah, because it's just
I think
like,
I was trying to hold out.
I just have felt something weird about him, like since, I don't, since the beginning, since, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with all these omens and stuff, but they still, when she was reading about him, it still was like, this isn't gonna be good. And, he's clearly bad news that we learned from the beginning too. That's what it was
Yeah.
like, it's not gonna be good. So I don't know. I also just,
Yeah, with the portents.
I just don't, I didn't really like him anyway. I just wasn't a Benji fan.
Yeah, his character.
Well, I just thought it was like him withholding information, like just because you're worried about her not doing what you want, that's just manipulative. So I was like, there's something funky with him.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely caught on to that. I was like, that feels bad, but he's young. I was like, I definitely fell for like the I'm just a boy
I'm
act.
just a boy. I'm just a
I'm just
baby.
a boy.
I don't know. I'm just a baby.
So yeah, they were starting to like shit talk Rory a little bit, and Sybil shut down pretty quickly. She was like, "No, thank you. I don't want anything to do with you." And then she goes to the beach and meets with him, and they have some sexy, sexy beach sex. Do you ever think about? Because of course, a lot of stories do that. The beach is apparently very romantic. Do you
Don't know
ever
why.
read a beach scene and you're just like, there's sand everywhere.
Wasn't it in like the
Ew.
Throne of Glass series that they it was on the beach too or something? I was just like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
It probably smells like booty hole out there. The sea does not smell great,
Yeah,
especially not near the
it probably
shore.
stinks
Yeah.
and you get sand in all your cracks.
Oh,
No, thank you.
no thanks. Not for me.
At least bring a blanket if you're
Even
trying to be
then, though.
romantic. I know. But whatever, it's fantasy. We're just
Yeah.
fantasizing. Rules
Like,
don't apply.
well, and all of them don't fucking smell like travel. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's all I think about all the
Nobody
time
has
is like,
showered.
no one's showered. You all probably stink. Like you all wearing the
And
same
you're
clothes
walking
constantly.
around. Yeah, and you're walking around in a tin can. You guys
Yeah,
are all wearing armor head to toe. There's no way that you're not covered in sweat.
yeah, and like anything metal already just smells like metallic. Yuck. And
Yeah,
they're like, let's take this
you're
to the
so
beach.
right.
Let's just add some salt to it.
Right? They probably smell you're right. They probably all smell so bad.
Just takes you right out of it.
Ew.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, it really does.
I hate when I do that when I'm like reading those parts and I'm like, can't wait for this to be over. Ruin it for
Yeah, right.
myself.
And you're like, ugh,
Like
gross.
when I was reading ACOTAR and they're like having sex during like the war and people are like crying out in the middle of the night
Mm.
from being hurt, I'm like, this is the wrong
Yeah.
moment. Or at least don't tell me about people who
Yeah.
are crying.
Yeah, right? She didn't have to include that.
No. Like I'm to
No
make it
thanks.
seem real, but this isn't
Yeah,
real.
taking me right out of it.
This is fantasy. I don't need to talk about how you guys,
Uh,
have diarrhea.
right?
I hate that. Like that's I'll reread those books because they're good. It's like, a good reading snack when you're feeling it. But
Yeah. They're so easy to like poke at because they're so popular too. I do really enjoy the ACOTAR
yeah,
books, but
yeah,
they're they are still subject to the same criticism every
yeah,
other book is.
yeah.
And she's
And that part just always
yeah,
got
I don't want
me.
to know about your watery bowels.
Yeah, literally. Just don't talk to me about that. Like why? I know you probably have the shits sometime, okay? You don't have to tell me about it.
I don't need to know.
Literally take
I
me out
just
of any sort
yeah,
of romance when you're talking about that stuff,
I
right?
just love actually, I decided right now that I love it that every time that something scary would happen, she would just have to say, and Feyre immediately shit her pants.
She
Like,
immediately shit her pants.
she had to put it in there.
And then she's gonna go
I
put
can't.
on like one single piece of a gossamer see-through gown and go sit on his lap with her watery bowels.
Right?
Could you just imagine like her dancing and being afraid at those things and like her stomach is just gurgling the whole time? Oh my God. That would be the worst. You just like walking around with your butt
She's
cheeks clenched.
this close to shitting her pants the whole
You
time.
can just imagine her like waddling away or trying to dance and just be like, I really have to poop.
My God. God, I'm gonna have to reread those books and then just with that in my mind the whole time, I'm not gonna be able to take it seriously.
That's how you know he truly loves her, is because he probably saw her doing her shit dance and was like, he's still gonna marry that.
She probably left a streak on his lap after he gets up, and she's like,
That's why he
or
wears
after
that.
she gets up, he's just like, it's fine.
It's
This is
fine.
yeah, that's true love. That's true love.
He won't remember.
Oh my God, I'm dead. I would probably get swasty pants on some fairy wine too if I did that.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh man, I needed that. So all this time we've got the gargoyle kind of, being his self. He's awesome. He's adding the perfect little one-liners to each conversation. He's adding a little bit of comic relief. But then we get to where they are going out. Did they found or she found him on top of, yes, okay, she found him sitting on top of the hill on the cliffs like one morning, and this was before they go looking for the Heartsour Weaver, but she finds him up there by himself. She was very worried that he had also disappeared. She had kind of like a flashback to when she woke up and all her sisters were gone. Wakes up one of the next mornings and the gargoyle's gone. She goes running looking for him. Was very relieved to see him. I thought that was a sweet little moment, and it like again in hindsight it was like the last like sweet little moment before she realized like learns who he is. But she finds him sitting up on this cliff, and that cliff becomes important later because we learn that that cliff is the little rock he's sitting on at the top of that cliff is where the Heartsour Weaver lives, like right underneath that. So then after that, she wakes up to a mysterious figure opening the door to their room, and like the little clack clack clacks that she heard in her dream coming into her room, leaning over the bed. And yeah, it was storming, and like this like lightning strike illuminates her face, and the Heartsour Weaver has found her in their inn, which is one, scary, and two, yeah, it's the first time. So they've had to go seek out all of these omens to try to lure them out of hiding. And this omen just walks in the front door.
Surprise.
So,
I'm here for you.
surprise. And then this was also after they tried to lure her out with the spring water the same way they had done for every other omen, but she didn't come out for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So already like things are feeling a little like are quite a bit different as
Yeah.
they go into this hamlet. The gargoyle's acting kind of funny. Benji's being real shady. They try to lure out the weaver and she doesn't come. And so now they're like, okay, we got to go hunt for her, but where do we go? And the
Mhm.
gargoyle says, "Oh, I know where she is," and leads them all back to that hill. So yeah, they go looking for the weaver, and the gargoyle says, "You're looking in the wrong place. I know where they're at," and leads them up to that hill and moves the rock he was sitting on, and it's a tunnel down into the cliff that they have to jump into. So they hop in and start going into these creepy tunnels. And the first couple things that stood out to me, so number one, there were silkworms all over the place. They pointed those out. The silk, specifically sprites, they said they're silkworm sprites, which I don't know what maybe made them different, but and then tapestries on the wall that depicted moths, right? And then they come along, three paths open up and they have to split up. So Rory and Sybil and the gargoyle go one way, Maud and Benji go another way, and immediately activate a booby trap, basically. Seawater opens up and they and floods the tunnel that Rory and Sybil are in, and they land on a giant pile of gold.
Both got piles of
So
gold.
here we're like, yeah. So here we're like, okay, they're going the right way, clearly. Rory almost becomes a shish kebab because there's also apparently spikes at the bottom of this pit. And then after that, the gargoyle helps them get out of there. Rory needs to go back for his coin because he dropped it, and that's how they get separated. And so he goes back for his coin, but Sybil then continues on because she sees like movement and stumbles upon the corpse of one. So sad.
Yeah. It just reconfirms. I mean, she was still hoping. She knew that there was something bad happened to them, but just seeing that has got to be like, gut-wrenching because like
Right.
it's confirmed now, witnessed.
Right. Yeah. So that was very sad. But then, of course, out pops the Heartsore Weaver, and it is also revealed that she is a gargoyle and has basically abandoned her post as an omen.
Hmm.
So first of all, we get the Heartsore Weaver's sad story. So she reveals to Sybil that number one, the spring water is what, so it's kind of the reverse of what we were thinking, right? Like when you drink from it, like continuing to drink it is the only thing that keeps them from turning to stone. So like
Hmm.
once you've had it, you have to keep having it. Otherwise, the stone eye, like your eyes turn to stone from consuming it, but then your rest of you will turn to stone unless you continue to consume it.
Yeah.
So we were kind of on track when we were talking about it last time about how the diviners would kind of expire after a certain point of like 10 years. And so maybe the abbess is just getting new ones because then they would die. Well, it turns out they don't die, they turn into gargoyles. So that was interesting. But then the magic of the stone object itself was actually what made her decide to give up on it and kind of not be a god anymore. Is that how you understood it?
Yeah. That's what I took from it.
Okay. So, because it let her transport back into her memories. So, like, it let her see who she was before she became an omen. And by doing that, it made her realize that living forever sucked and she didn't want that. So,
And then she wanted to
so we
die.
learn all of that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So then she wanted Sybil to kill her, which was like, yeah, it's just a sad moment because it's like that's what she came here to do, but now it feels different because she wants to die,
Yeah.
but she can't do it herself.
It makes me wonder, is that what the Forester was like too? Like maybe they were just like, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Yeah, I wonder because Maud killed the Forester, but we don't ever really get the story of how or like what that looked like for her. So I'm not really sure, but I wonder too, yeah, if maybe she had just given up because she had been giving the gold to the Hamlet.
Well, and wouldn't Mon have been pretty young?
Yeah, she had to have been,
Like,
right?
I don't know. I don't know how old Mon is, but
Well, she said she was in her 40s, didn't she?
yeah. And so if it was 40 years ago, she couldn't have been that old, right?
Yeah, she said she told the abbess on their confrontation that the Forster's been dead for almost 30 years.
Okay.
So yeah, she had to have been like 15 or something, like at most.
So I can't imagine it was something that was like, "I'm gonna attack you and kill you." Maybe she was an amazing fighter that like young like that, but also where it wasn't another thing
Yeah.
where it's just like, I don't want to do this
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, it had to have been. Well, so when the Heartsore Weaver reveals that what she becomes is basically what everybody who has been in contact with the spring water becomes if they don't continue to drink it. Because what she reveals is that she was refusing the shipments of water, but then also after the water came the diviners with their blood was how they were going to be given the spring water. And so when those started coming, she was refusing them, which is the reason why she turned to into a gargoyle completely stone. And so when she reveals that, all I'm thinking is, okay, this is what's going to happen to Sybil,
Hmm.
right? And we don't get like an answer to that, but so she has been drinking it recently. So in my mind, it's going to be like she's probably got a roughly 10 more year timer of not having any spring water before then she would turn into a gargoyle,
It makes me
right?
wonder if all of those, if all the like omens tools need to be like returned to the spring or something, like some sort of curse like that to like reverse
Yeah,
it. I mean, I don't know, but it makes me wonder.
maybe. Yeah. That would be interesting cuz yeah, so the weaver said that as soon as she began refusing the spring water and the diviners that followed, because of that, she turned into a gargoyle. And then she gave her stone object back to Ashling when that happened because she was like, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. So the loomstone is in the hands of the abbess. And now the weaver just wanted to die. So Sybil kills her. Very sad. So then, right after that happens, Rory and the gargoyle show up, and she asks the gargoyle to tell his story, which is so interesting. So, did he just not remember the story until he was able to recite it to somebody? Do you
May-
think?
Maybe, or maybe he'd been trying to tell her, or like maybe,
'Cause I feel like, yeah, he had been trying to tell her, and anytime that he tried to tell her, she would just like shut him down, never let him tell her that story.
yeah,
But then I was like, it seemed like he was always talking in like the third person until he finally got to recite his story. And then it was almost like a curse was lifted and he could finally realize that's who he was.
hmm,
That's how it seemed to me. I don't know if
yeah.
that was what was
But
intended, but
but when he was telling the story, it was as him though, because the gargoyle said, "But then you stopped obeying me, Bartholomew. You stopped being my perfect diviner." So it's like he was still speaking as the abbess.
as the abbess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
that's
because
probably
he was reciting the story like word for word how she told it to him. But then he switches like after that, he switches to then first person where he's talking about I, like himself as Bartholomew, right?
but the one she liked best, the one she lent her hammer and chisel
Hmm.
to, the most obedient, she always kept locked away to make into gargoyles.
Yeah, so he said his shoulders shook. He let out a long, mournful sound. When he opened his eyes, looking into mine, I knew he was speaking in his own voice now and not the abbess's. She kept me locked away in the cottage with no windows. Like went on. Yeah, so he like kind of switched. So he was like reciting this story that the abbess told him
Yeah.
and then switched to where he seemed to like know who he was. Because up until this point, he's always kind of just been like, I don't really know. Like it was almost like he had forgotten who he was until he was able to recite the story.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder
Um,
if the loomstone is, or is at there if he accidentally ran into it and had a memory or something.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't, yeah. Well, and then so through his story, we find out a couple more things. So we find out the actual real history of the spring, which is that it brings people back to life who have died previously. Not it doesn't just like give people eternal life, it brings them back to life, but they have to have been previously dead. So yes, in fact, the abbess did already know about the spring, but she knew about the spring because she said she was a stillbirth. She so at some point, like, yeah, her mother must have stumbled upon this stream, had given birth into it, but the baby was stillborn. And so that was the abbess. She said she was stillborn into the spring, and that's why when she came back to life, she was head to toe stone, so she had been that way her whole life since she was born. So she knew about the spring the whole time, and then had a foundling child that had shown up on the tour and died. And because she knew about the spring already, she brought him back to life with the spring water. And then that was Bartholomew.
Hmm.
So she and her foundling child did already know about the spring and were living there when all these 5 people show up on the tour to try to decide who's going to lead. They end up all just killing each other. And when they were all dead, she brought them all back to life with the spring water. So they didn't remember who they were, and she told them, "You are these things." And yeah, saw it basically as an opportunity to be a god, essentially.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fascinating.
Hmm.
But yeah, so then essentially the very sad story of Bartholomew is that he was this foundling child who was brought back to life and then kind of used, in this way, because the waters bring you back to life, but they also give the ability to control dreams, is what she said. So you were right. Like, she was touching the diviners when they drowned, she was able to control what they were dreaming about.
Mm.
And then that's why when the gargoyle put Six into the spring, when it was Rory's divination, that's why she saw a different dream, was because he was telling her subconsciously his story. So sad.
It is so sad.
But basically, she abused him. Like, she just abused him, used him and abused him until he was no longer useful to her because he wasn't obedient. And then she locked him in the cottage with no windows and let him turn to stone.
Mm. And then
And that's
now
why she
she's,
decided to use girls from then on.
and then that's why she
Yeah.
is wanting to keep Six for herself so that she can turn her into a
Right.
loyal
So then all of
gargoyle.
the gargoyles, all the gargoyles that are at the cathedral now are her favorites that she felt were the most obedient, the best
Hmm.
diviners, the most obedient, and she made them turn into gargoyles and are kind of her little minions now.
Yeah.
So sad.
Kept Bartholomew though.
Yeah, it just makes me love him more.
Hmm.
So now it did make sense, because I was like, okay, like, everything about him that was very, like, so innocent, childish this whole time, and now we understand why.
Yeah.
Because he is just a little
He's
kid,
just a baby.
just a baby. So this is what we learn, and she takes everything they've learned back to Ashling, which is, of course, the abbess's real name. She, of course, named the cathedral after herself. But yeah, they return, they confront her, battle ensues,
They kill
and
her.
they end up killing her with the hammer and chisel.
Hmm.
They decide to tear down the cathedral, the whole thing. They use the brigand's coin to blow it all up until it all crashes to the ground. They did have to kill all of the gargoyles, which is a little bit sad,
Yeah.
knowing that they were diviners. And then Benji pulls the double cross.
Stupid ass bitch.
Okay, so you saw you saw it coming. So how did you feel when it happened?
I was like, mm-hmm. But then also, like, for real, it couldn't have just been like some other thing. But to
Yeah.
want to make her his queen,
Oh,
want to make Sybil
gross.
his queen is just fucking weird. But also, maybe he liked her this whole time and was starting to be jealous that. I mean, I know it's not that because,
Do you think so?
but like,
Yeah.
if he wants to make her his queen, but then like maybe he's just like, that's why he stopped including Rory or maybe pushed him away.
Yeah, I had the thought that maybe it was like a jealousy thing, but I don't know. I didn't feel like he was coming on to her at all throughout
I
the book,
think
and so maybe
I think it's more just like wanting to be the important one. You know what I mean? Or the special.
yeah.
Like, I don't think he sees her that
Yeah,
way.
that was what I took away, is I feel like it's all just a power grab, and what he's
Hmm.
interested with her all he's interested in is if I make her my queen, then she makes me look more powerful because
Hmm.
everybody sees her as this, able to talk to gods kind of like powerful person. So it's all about how it makes him look.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he wasted no time. The final brick fell and he swung on Rory. Yeah, about fucking time, and just stabs him, and then shoots the gargoyle, and then basically holds him at sword point and tells Maud. Yeah, that's where I was like, it was just the way he just was like, you are all a means to an end. Even Maud, basically, he was like, I've always known that you would never be loyal to me, so good riddance is basically what he said to her. I was like, damn, okay. So you really just didn't care.
It also makes me wonder though. I mean, I feel like he does care, but also like he's trying to play the strong boy. I don't need any of you. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's still a kid though. That's the only thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, and I know that they were like, he takes the creed, of the only god of men is coin. He takes this creed to heart, and I was like, I don't know. I felt like I saw that one from the beginning, where I was like, yeah, the only god of men is coin. It always has been, probably always
yeah,
will be. Like,
yeah,
so I was like, okay, I didn't put that together that he was just taking all of the gold and using it to pay off the nobles. But I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just felt like his loyalties were so like he did such a good job of convincing them and us as the reader that his loyalties were to like Maud and Rory, and then
yeah.
for him to like the second, like the dust hadn't even cleared from the cathedral falling to the ground, and he was like
All right.
cutting him up like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So So yeah, that's where he lets them go. And again, I feel like, this is a show of his youth. Like he's young and he probably still does care a little bit because he ends up letting them go. He lets the gargoyle and Rory and Maud leave. And as long as Sybil agreed to stay with him. And of course, she made that sacrifice because she loves him. So
Mm-hmm.
lets them leave. And that's where the book ends.
And now we have to wait for the other one.
So
It's just not gonna be
I
long,
know.
right?
We have like a year. I think we looked it up last time.
Yeah, I
It was
think so.
September, I think.
Ugh. But then we have Bride 2 to read. Yeah, September 1st. Ugh.
Yeah.
Or not Bride 2.
Yeah. Bright too. It's basically bright too. So yeah, that's I it's so hard to wait. This is why I'll
Mm,
like wait to watch TV shows until they all come out and then I'll just binge watch them all.
same. I am not good. Luckily, I don't feel like just from reading her other One Dark Window or whatever, I don't feel like I'm as super disappointed that I have to wait. You know what I mean? I feel like it was still a really good story for what we have. And if she never
Yeah.
came out with book two, I'd be okay with it because in my heart, I'd just be like, we pretty much know that they're alive and that they would totally figure it out. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
heart.
Nobody's in like a really precarious situation.
Yeah.
So just kind of a
Mhm.
bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. So, if there's like one thing that you think, what do you think the second book is going to be about? Like, because we've like you said, we kind of completed and ended the story of the omens with
Yeah.
this book. So, like, what do you think that the next book is going to?
I feel like there's going to be a whole lot more twists and turns, and it's going to be a whole lot like more than we realize, like with the whole like lore story and stuff. Like the spring is going to be like something else entirely. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna have to do with the sprites or something.
Mm,
I feel like there's something going on with that. And then I feel like
yeah,
we're gonna obviously be around Benji and what's her face and Sybil a lot because they're gonna be stuck together and then it's just gonna be pining for Rory.
yeah, I agree. Because I think the unanswered questions in this one are the sprites. Like, we haven't really understood what's going on there, other than
Yeah.
that they've been oppressed for basically human history. So, what's up with that? And
Well,
then
Yeah, and it's all of the things that are tied to each like omen's place is like a food source for the sprites. Like the
Hmm.
weaver's silk moth sprites or something, aren't the silks like what they eat or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't specify, but like it said, yeah, the source or they get their silk for the what they weave from the sprites. So, I think it's still and can still be a source of abuse of them, of maybe just like working them to get their goods basically.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like depleting resources from the sprites, and I just feel like that
Hmm.
has something to do with the spring somehow. Like I feel like it's connected. Like it's the environment trying to do something about it. I almost feel like it's like the Earth's way of like, I don't know. There's something weird.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that's got to be cleared up for us in the second for sure. And then I think, I don't know if it's going to be a big plot point, but I think that we have to address what's going to happen to Sybil now that the spring is gone, right? Like it's in if as far as we know, it's gone, and she's on a timer essentially until she becomes the same as the gargoyle and the weaver. So I'm curious how that'll play out.
Me too.
Well, this was a great book. I loved it.
Yeah, it
How
was.
many stars?
5 out of 5, I'd say. I
Five out
really
of five
liked it.
stars.
I wish the
I did
spice
too.
would have gone quicker, but I'm happy with what was in it.
Yes. I agree. I always want a quicker burn, but she did a good job telling a story so it didn't feel prolonged.
I actually liked this
Okay, so
better
then
than One Dark Window.
yeah. Now, I haven't read One Dark Window, so don't
Oh.
like spoiler free, but what's kind of like the gist? What's it like? Is it a completely different world
Yes.
concept or anything?
Yes, I think she
Okay.
has, she reminds me of the unique storytelling that Charlie and Holmberg does. Just, I don't know how you come up with this, but One Dark Window has also like kind of powers, but it's like a card. Oh, this person has like, I don't know if it's like tarot cards or like a card, and that gives them an ability. And so they're searching for
Oh.
these cards. But the main girl has like shadow that talks to her in her head and is like sharing her like space. And so he's always in the background there.
Oh.
It's really cool.
Oh, that's
He's kind of
interesting.
he can be a little menacing, but he's not he can be funny, but it's not like what you would expect. It's because like I feel like when they do that, it's like they're super funny and they help them out, but this one's you're acting like this is a weakness, like you need to figure that out, like a harsh truth kind of thing, like conscience.
Oh, yeah.
So
So, yeah, maybe not malicious or like malevolent, but
they could be if they wanted, but
tough love.
yeah, tough love and asshole.
Well, I'm very intrigued because everything I've seen about One Dark Window has been good reviews, so
hmm
I
It's good.
definitely will be reading it. But for this being my intro to Rachel Gillig, really like it, and I definitely
Uh-huh.
will read more by her. Okay, well, so completed this book. We will be wrapping up Bride, the last chapters of Bride for next week. And then we will be starting Shield of Sparrows. So this has also been, I've seen it all over. Everybody says it's a great read for this year. So we're going to find out if everyone's being honest or not. But starting Shield of Sparrows next, after we wrap up Bride next week, and then we'll also be starting Bride 2 after that. So yeah, if you're following along with Bride, join us next week to wrap that one up. Otherwise, we'll be starting Shield of Sparrows the week after, and we're going to be chopping it up a little bit differently. We're going to do each book in 2 parts instead of 4. So we'll be reading chapters 1 through 30 in Shield of Sparrows for the following week, and excited to jump into a new fantasy world. I
Yay.
like that we've got like a maybe more of like an epic fantasy with like a more like
Paranormal
lighthearted kind of.
romance type thing that's
Yeah.
witty and
Cuz I feel
fun.
like if we did something like these two like at the same time, I would probably get the world details and stuff really confused between the
Yeah.
two. I don't know. We'll see, but But yeah, so join us next week to wrap up Bride. Otherwise, we'll see you the week after to start our new book, Shield of Sparrows. But
Hey,
thank you for reading along for our first completed book in book club.
yeah,
Bye.
me.
Please like, subscribe, and tune in on Wednesdays for new episodes. And check us out on YouTube for the video of this episode if you'd care to see our faces. We want to hear from you. Join the discussion in the comments below or join the club on Patreon to engage with other members and get exclusive benefits. How are you liking the book so far? Leave your thoughts, predictions, and theories, and you just might hear them on our next episode. Thanks for listening.